Have you seen this little guy?
What?
This little fella. Have you seen him? Have you seen this little fella?
This little fella?
This little fella? He's got sunglasses
Damn, boy.
on.
That's
He's
great.
a funny little character. Okay.
Straight up, right from the start.
Yeah.
Cold Ones reference off the bat. What up, Hamboys?
Ham fam.
What up, Ham fam? It's Paul and Owen back with another potty.
It's your boy, Matty Smokes.
Hey, what up, YouTube?
What is up?
What is up, YouTube?
Oh, God.
It's your boy, Matty fucking Smokes.
Oh, man. All right.
Hey, guys, how we all doing? Welcome back to episode 5. Episode 5 of the Hamboys podcast. Yay! It's doing it again. We unfortunately have had to go back to not being in the same room.
Yeah.
Owen's back in Warrnambool. I'm back at home. Back in Manny.
You didn't leave.
I never left. But we're here, and we're ready to do another podcast.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
What do you think of this? Okay.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So, I went into the Bottle-O the other day, and I knew the cashier. Shout out to Nick, and he informed me that I get a free can of Tinnies, the brand. No, yeah, Tinnies.
Tinnies, the furphy for cheap boys.
No, you're thinking of Frothies.
Ah, no, you're right. That's
Tinnies.
Frothies.
Yeah.
Also, just saying, Tinnies and Frothies, the best names for beer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and
Cuts
grab
out
a
the
couple
middleman.
of. Oi, bro, you want a frothy?
Yeah.
Every time you're gonna say yes. Get a slab of froths.
Literally just says, and they're really good beers.
They are good beers.
The Premix King had Premix King sell like beers that are about to die, and or beers that you're not supposed to sell at full price anymore. And they were selling them for $35 a slab.
Yeah,
the Frothies. That was good.
Beers that are illegal G Fuel.
Yeah, G Fuel beer. Anyway, I went to the Bottle-O and Nick's like, oh, because I bought a 6-pack of the beer I'm about to show you. But he said, oh, you get a free tinny. And I was like, oh, sweet, perfect. And I was like, I'll just use that for the podcast because it's a good beer and all that. And then last night, because it was Julian's birthday, shout out to Julian, I popped it in the freezer. Because it was room temperature. I was like, I'll pop it in the freezer and get it nice and cold so I can have a few drinks with my brother. And then I forgot about it, and I just kept drinking the beer I'm about to show you. And I was playing Apex before with Jakey Boy. Shout out to Jakey Boy. And I don't know what triggered in my mind, but we just finished. I was like, oh yeah, see you, man. And jumped, hang up on Discord. And for some reason, that just triggered something in my brain. And I went, the beer! The beer!
Oh, earlier.
And I just ran to the freezer expecting to see
later.
a busted out exploded beer, but luckily it was just frozen. So it's currently chilling at 4 degrees, not minus 20. And instead I got
defrosting at 4 degrees.
Yeah. So now I've got the old favourite, Cooper's Pale Ale.
Very nice, very nice. It's a good beer.
Thirst.
Give it a shake.
Don't shake it. Give it a nice roll.
Yeah. So just quick shout out to Julian, Owen's little brother. Last night, he turned 20. Or yesterday, not last night, but last night, he ran a 2 DJ set. Good old DJ One Sock ran a 2 DJ set for everybody in the Discord, in his little group. Which isn't so little, it's fucking massive. There's heaps of people. And we jumped on until about 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. He was having a blast.
Just had a good COVID lockdown DJ set, which was wild.
It was actually awesome fun. And
it was
fun. Just playing games and listening to Julian's tunes and yeah. That's what's you got to make this is I guess we should probably say that also that we're recording this in Victoria's 5th lockdown.
Yeah. Episode 5, lockdown number 5.
Yeah.
This is Mumbo number 5.
Yeah,
Man.
it was really good. It was really good.
Yeah, madness.
But yeah,
That's
this
great.
lockdown is. Anyway, doesn't matter. We gotta deal with it. Work from home again and all that.
That's all right. We were doing this over a call anyway, so it worked out okay.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, not a lot of my life has changed. Like I don't have my casual. I didn't do my casual work I usually do on a Saturday for a bit of extra pocket money, and I didn't play soccer on Sunday. And apart from that, I would. Oh, actually, that's not true. I was supposed to go to Ballarat, and that obviously didn't happen. So maybe it did affect me.
A little
I'm
bit.
just trying to repress it.
Well, actually, I did get a personal message. What was it? I got a personal message the other day. It was a couple of weeks ago now, after we started releasing podcasts, and people are just like, well, from Tess. She said, "What do you guys do? No one knows what you guys do. How are you meant to review the podcast, like metal music or music in general? When, like, are you guys professional at it or something like that?" It was just like sort of a random question. Then we spoke in person about it. And it was pretty much for me, it was like, oh, cool. Maybe we should cover that in one of the podcasts. Like, what do we actually do? Why is it that we are doing this? And just like a quick rundown, hey? What do you reckon?
Yeah, we give a little bit of background in that episode 0, but
yeah, it's true. But I think we give a little bit of background in like the sense that, like, we talk amongst jokes and old stories of stuff as to why we like music. But
well,
musically,
yeah, we could definitely elaborate on it. Like, do you mean like what we do professionally, or what we do?
I think what we do professionally probably. Well, I mean, should we say?
I mean, yeah. I'm a PhD candidate at Deakin. I'm doing ecological research on black lip abalone, which has absolutely nothing to do with music. So this is why I don't know how relevant it really is.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I was like, maybe we shouldn't talk about it. But at the same time,
I think that's also highlights that it's not. This is a part of our life that we're just. I mean, it is a bit of fun, honestly, and we're taking it 100% seriously. In fact, I haven't taken anything outside of my professional, like, career aspiration level stuff. I haven't taken anything this seriously in a long time, except maybe Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah, you're a bit of sweaty, aren't you?
No, I wish I was a sweat, mate. That game's full of sweats.
No, you're a sweaty boy.
I'm a single bead of perspiration.
You're a sweaty boy.
These sweat lords. Anyway.
Well, in that sense, I am a almost qualified barber. I've been barbering for about a year, and I'm a little bit of an entrepreneur. I like to buy businesses, and I like to work in businesses. That's about it.
Yeah. Once again, nothing to do with
music.
You're probably slightly more related to this because you can, like, it's another little venture, even if it's not a business venture. It's another little...
This isn't about being a business, though. This was never meant to be about
that's right.
making money for us, was it? It was just meant to be about us doing this because this is what we do
We're in the hole at the moment with this,
exactly,
but it doesn't bother us. Like, it's like paying money for any hobby. If I wasn't doing this, I'd probably go and buy a new guitar or something, and that's a lot more expensive than a monthly subscription to Squadcast. So,
and a couple of hours every week.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, it's a hobby. It's a bit of fun.
But this is the thing. We do this anyway. Hey,
yeah.
Either over Snapchat or in the car on a drive or in person. Like all those nights that we'd stay up listening to music, listening to different songs, and drinking scotch.
Oh man.
Oh, so good. Sipping on whiskey and just talking smack. And we're doing that now for everybody else as well. Digitizing it. That's it. That's awesome.
So,
all right.
We probably won't want to take up too much time talking about that. So maybe we should save more of those details for another time. And should we get stuck into the review?
I think so.
Give some background.
Let's go and give a little bit of background. All right. So first thing up is...
Maybe we should give some background on the background.
Yeah. So first thing up is Owen and I have done 4 episodes now, or 5. No, it's 4 different episodes now, and we've pretty much picked those albums just based on something that we were remotely comfortable with, maybe something that was a little bit outside of the box when it came to like Make Them Suffer's album. However, we sort of done not all of the albums that we can both say we know. There's a couple more in there, but we want to save those for a later date. But we decided that we're going to just choose one album each, and then the other person would listen to it, and we do a review on it, and then vice versa. And that way, we would have some new music between the two of us as well. So mine's the first pick right now. This is the album that we're going to be talking about today. The band is called Awake in Providence. Awake in Providence is a technical deathcore band. One of my favourite bands, I must say. They're top tier.
Can I just say?
The band sort of consists of 3 members. It's technically 4. I don't really understand how it all works because they're really, really hard to find any information on. Yeah. However, there is 3 founding members of the band. We've got DeAndre Tyre, who does guitar. Founding members.
So these guys who were in the start and are still in now.
The OGs.
Okay.
DeAndre Tyre. Not A. Andre, DeAndre. He does guitars and cleans. Jordan Fellion does guitar as well. And Adam Mercer, who does their vocals, which is their metal vocals. Now, I do know, and when you look at all the photos of them, there's 4 people in it. I don't know who the 4th one is. I'm not really too sure. In fact, I'm going to have a quick look, because I looked it up before, and one of them has gone to Lorna Shore. And I'm curious as to if that's Adam Mercer.
No, it's not.
I didn't think so.
I can't remember his name now.
William Ramos. William Ramos. Congratulations to our homie William Ramos landing his spot in Lorna Shore. So, was that one of their vocalists as well, I think?
Yeah, he was a vocalist. So, yeah, because when I was trying to find some info on this...
It's so hard to find.
Like most of the stuff I've been pretty lucky with, like they've been really comprehensive Wikipedia articles, and so I know it's Wikipedia, but it's not bullshit basically. And then I also I guess to make them suffer one, I couldn't find a heap of information, but on like Wikipedia, but there was like more resources out there, like Reddit and shit like that. But for some reason, this album, which has a following,
a good following too.
Yeah, this band just didn't seem to have a lot of info out there, which is frustrating.
So, William Ramos has some sort of connection to the band, whether he's a vocalist or not. I think he was a vocalist because I'm pretty sure.
Well, did he do this album?
I don't know. That's what I don't know. I couldn't find anything on that. Anyway, I have the founding members. Whoever's in the band who made this album, awesome. Whoever did the drums, or if it was electronics, like if it was just all synth work and whatever, good job. Also, I'm drinking vodka and Coke.
Oh, right. I was going to... your drink.
Because Cheers, I'm out of beer. Because I drank my last one yesterday for Julian's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I'm bashing around the mic, too. Buccanile.
Buccanile.
Oh, that poor woman.
All right.
It's the butt of a joke.
Yeah, the butt of a joke. All right, so that's it. These guys originate, or they hail, from Massachusetts to Florida, in that sort of range.
What?
Yeah.
I thought they were New York.
Nah, well, from there is where these the founding members are from, at least.
Like they were born there. But I think the band was born in New York.
There. Yeah. Sure. I'm not sure about that, but sure.
I'm pretty confident about that.
They were formed
together. We'll find all the information.
But together, right now, over me.
Lorna Shore.
Lorna Shore. Awake in Providence. So they were formed in 2010, if I didn't say that earlier. However, they signed with Outer Loop Records management in 2016, and they released their single, Iconoclast. Wowee. That's impress. Now, in that year, after they have released Iconoclast, they got really, really cozy and comfortable with Outer Loop. And they sort of, I guess, sweetened the deal a little bit. So they re-released one of their debut songs that they'd already released called Insidious, and a new song called A Darkened Gospel. Now, Dark and Gospel has got something like over 1 million listens on Spotify.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's a Wake in Providence song.
Yeah, A Darkened Gospel. I'll show you now.
Wow.
As well. Where we, my G? 1,431,042 listens, which is bonkers. When this album we're talking about now, their top songs haven't broken 400,000.
Except for obviously, A Darkened Gospel.
Yeah. But that's not on this album.
It's no, right, of course, yeah. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that's crazy. Hey,
I was gonna save it for later, but I could still bring it up later. But I think that it stuns me how like underappreciated this band is.
Yeah,
because
exactly right.
Maybe it's just like, I know it's all about taste and all that, and deathcore doesn't exactly have the same reach that a lot of other metal sub-genres do from a popular perspective. But I think, as it becomes more popular, this is the sort of stuff people would want. And for some reason, it's not. Yeah, I really, really like it, and like, I'm stunned that they're not like painted. Like they could be America's answer to Thy Art Is Murder.
100%.
So anyway,
America, like Thy Art Is Murder is like that pinnacle that they.
Dude, they're the benchmark for like.
They are the benchmark for
death metal. Like they did it. They made it
as deathcore.
That's why I said death metal. But they made it. Like death metal became a household name all of a sudden. Like people, get around North Lane and Parkway Drive and shit, and then all of a sudden, bloody CJ McMahon comes in, and
he's like, just like, "Hello, Australia.
Hello, I'm very loud. Enjoy."
And enjoy. Bye-bye.
Actually, that's one of the things he said at the vocal thing me and BK did. He said, because he was just trying to explain how to project your voice properly and stuff, and he said, "You won't get as loud as me." And then he stopped and went, "I don't know anyone louder than me." Like, he knows he is loud.
He's
like, without any, like, mic or anything. I was just like, whoa.
He's always sipping on that loud.
He got that loud.
He's got that loud. Alright. In 2018, they started working on their first full-length album. They named it The Blvck Sun, but black spelt with a V instead of an A. The Blood Moon. That is one title. In 2019, they released that album, and they've sort of been very, very transparent ever since. Not much more has come out of them after that.
So they've been like quiet.
Yeah, quiet.
Transparent would be more like they're not trying to hide anything.
All right, man, they're quiet then. Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
That's what it just do.
They don't think it be like it is.
But it do.
All right, and that's it. And since 2019, they haven't released any other music, and it pains my soul because they are amazing. And this album is incredible. All right, let's get into this review, hey?
Yeah, so... Oh, and maybe if like anyone else has any other information about this band.
That's right. We'd love to know. Actually, we did reach out to the band. We sent them an email and a message on Instagram to see if we could get any other information.
5 hours ago, so...
But they haven't responded, and in all fairness, I doubt they will. For a tiny 50-man following podcast. But if they do, we'll create a little update for you guys and let you know what's happening.
100%.
So, which would be fantastic.
Whoa! It's Paul and Owen from the future.
What's going on?
Ooh.
So, Wake in Providence replied to us and said a little bit about what's going on with them, and confirmed a couple of questions that we wanted to ask because we had no idea what was going on. We couldn't find any information. So we're just filling that in to the video now. So
DeAndre got back to me, the guitarist. Current members of the band just say Adam, vocals. DeAndre, guitar and vocals. Jordan, guitar. and Jesse drums. So
last names
don't know the
unconfirmed.
surnames, but that's what we got. And then this is interesting. I asked who the past members were, and he said, I'm going to read this verbatim. There's way too many, lol. Let me know if you need past members from a specific time period. I can provide that for you. We've had somewhere close to 14 to 15 member changes over the years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the
But
trick.
on the album, it was Adam and Dondre. So Adam on the vocals. Who was Adam? Who did we say?
Didn't we say it was Will Ramos?
Yeah, so we're way off.
Is it Will Ramos?
Maybe Will Ramos. Well, we'll get to that in a sec. But anyway, Adam, Dondre, and the previous drummer recorded drums on Blvck Sun, the Blood Moon.
Yeah, right. Well, a lot of change-ups. Either way, the music's still thick.
Yeah, so good. The release date, he says he can't remember, but he wants to say the end of March or the end of April in 2019. So, that time of year.
Yeah.
And then I asked for some fun facts about the album, and this is what he said. I'll read this verbatim too. It's quite interesting. Fun facts about the album. Honestly, it was quite a stressful time, so there isn't really any fun facts, lol, other than the entire album was recorded vocally twice because our vocalist quit after the album was completed.
Shit.
So instead of putting it out with a vocalist who wasn't in the band, we had Adam record the vocals down in Florida and had them added to the album. So they had the whole thing done, and then the vocalist at the time, I don't know if that was Will or who, but it was someone else.
Whoever
quit.
did the vocals.
Yeah, and then they got Adam to come and...
Well, Adam's vocals are sick, so
oh, dude.
Not mad. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Did they say anything about coming back anytime soon?
They haven't said anything about coming back here, but I've seen on their Instagram that
they got some new stuff coming.
Yeah, they're ready to make a comeback.
That's good.
So maybe we can have a chat to them on the show sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll add it to our list of potential interviewees.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, to the rest of the episode, or the start of the episode, or the end, wherever this video is in it. Just confirming.
Put you back in the time machine and send you back in time. Enjoy.
See you later.
Let's go. Song 1.
Adversary.
When yeah, like as far as deathcore introductions to an album goes, this is not what comes to mind.
No, but it's very good.
Yeah, it's really good and it fits really well too.
It does.
I've written it's a beautifully haunting intro.
It is,
or
creepy
hauntingly
as
beautiful,
hell.
Depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, well, soft and creepy opening, hey? Talk about soft and creepy. Yeah, it's definitely got some like eerie vibes, hey?
Yeah, I think it's in that chord progression. I don't know what it is. I don't know enough about music theory to know what's going on, but it leaves me with it was just like
the heebie-jeebies.
The heebie-jeebies, the Book of Niles.
The Book of Niles.
It's perfect for this album. It really sets the theme, I guess. Like even before like the heavy part comes in, you're just like, oh, I know what this is gonna be, and it's good.
Creepy.
It's a perfect little intro, so I love it.
Me?
Yeah, you go.
All right. All right. I've already said to you guys that this album's one of my faves. I have listened to this album pretty fucking full on for the last little while since I came across them. That would have had to have been about a year ago. And they're one of those playlists that I just keep going back to every single time. I like that the whole album. I just listen to the whole thing. I don't think I've contributed to a darkened gospel at all. But this album This album, I could have done at least 100 of listens to every song, even
Really?
more. Yeah, for sure. I've listened to it so much.
It's like, and they look at their analytics and it just says
It's just
Paul,
Paul.
50%.
Paul. No joke. I've listened to this album so much. It's if I'm like driving or something, it's always one I go back to, and I listen to this album start to finish. Hey,
Yeah.
Get that creepy intro to start. So, sort of gives you those shivers down the spine right at the beginning, and then that eerie sort of guitar all the way through the song sort of like keeps coming back as what they do is they have. So, for instance, like when we were talking about Make Them Suffer the other day, of like different sorts of parts to the songs, right? Different sorts of sections where they sound different in each, like you've got your hardcore part, you've got your deathcore part, you've got your blast beats,
Yep.
you got your shredding or whatever the case. I reckon they've got a really great balance in this song. I reckon
Oh
they've
my
got a
God,
really
dude.
great balance in the whole album, but
The-
in
Oh,
this song is
sorry.
in this song it's quite heavy the whole way through from start to finish. It's
Well,
besides that
not-
eerie start, and then it hits, and then it's they've got good stops, good moments for contrast to bring on those
moments.
some moments, good moments. Good spots where they stop the music completely, and then they come back and it's heavier, and they're always a little bit off timed as well, so it always catches you off guard, and it's just like way heavier than what you expect either.
Yeah,
It just
it's going to be
throws
heavy.
you off.
But
But they somehow make it heavier than what you expect. Like
Yep.
they drop it lower than what your booty can handle.
Yeah. What your booty can handle.
What your booty can master.
Yeah, like that. You mean like how it cuts out right, like in the last like 30 seconds of the song, and there's that fat ass breakdown.
Yeah, and it comes in and terrorizes your entire life, and you're like, "What the hell?"
Like, oh, I thought I knew what was going on.
Oh god! But it's like peak performance deathcore, 100%. Like
Yeah,
this,
it is.
this song is peak
So
performance deathcore with the melodic start. You get the it's creepy, it's scary. It's if I put it on with my wife and she was listening to it, she'd be like, "This is eerie. I don't want to listen to this. This is like it. This is like a Stephen King movie or book."
You're like, don't
either
worry.
way.
Soon it turns into a
Dance party.
what's a good just trying to think of like a fucked up horror director or something, as opposed to Stephen King, who's on the
Stephen
creepy
King's pretty
side of
fucked
that
up.
coin. Yeah, but it's not like a grindhouse scary. It's just like makes you think a little bit too
M. Night
much.
Shyamalan.
No, that's it's gone.
M. Night Shyamalan is the best though. He's like
yeah,
my
he made the
favourite.
best movie of all time, The Last Airbender.
No, he didn't make the best movie of all time. He made a lot of really great movies. Lady on the Water, watch that.
Okay.
Oh. Chef's Kiss.
Chef's Kiss. Anyway, thanks for this review. For listening to this review of Lady on the Water.
So good. Great movie. The part with the water and the lady. Oh.
But this is not
The
a movie
butterflies?
podcast.
Or
It's
a beer podcast. Oh, sorry. I thought it was
Or
a games
games.
podcast. Either way, this song is fantastic. The breakdowns are numerous and they're all very heavy. And the entire song has this eerie tone which just sort of drills you back right to the start of the song with that creepy, piano-y, guitar-y playing, whatever it is. I don't even know. It's
Like the
guitar.
unplugged sort of style acoustic.
That acoustic sort of church
It's
acoustic.
not really acoustic, but yeah, I get you, baby.
Yeah, it comes back to that. I give this song a 7 out of 10. I reckon it's a fantastic way to start an album, deathcore album. It's thick and juicy, and it's very heavy. And I've also written here vocalist, whoever the fuck vocaled for this.
Why is it not? Oh, right, because we don't know.
Whether it's Adam Mercer or bloody Will.
I've
William
got a feeling it's Will.
Ramon. Will.
I think. Just
Ramon.
based on the stuff I've looked at, and I've got a hunch.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But when I did the research, I was like, this is not making sense. And I couldn't find anything else. I looked through every article that they had when I looked up Awake in Providence band bio. Either way, I give it a 7 out of 10. He does well. I think it's Will as well. Will shows off a lot of his vocal range and fluidity. Fluidity.
Yeah,
he shows off heaps of it.
he
He's like,
does
he
in
does these
this
like
album.
right at the start. He comes off with his like 3/4 lows, and they're like, wow, they're really full. And then he's just like, oh, a bit of tunnel throat, and you're like, oh, a bit of tunnel throat. And then he just does these like real pitchy, like little nasty demon highs.
Yeah, man, those
And you're like,
highs are
oh
like.
shit, what the fuck?
I was
Where'd that come from?
when I was like in preparation for this review, because you know this album so much better than I do, and it's relatively new for. I mean, I heard it before, but I had to like really, like I had it before I sat down and really thought about the songs and critically analyzed everything. I just let it wash over me, like just played it in the car and in the shower and stuff. And there were just some moments, like I was just like enjoying it, and then there were some moments where I have like moments of self-actualization. I'm just like, holy Jesus, man, this guy has got like seriously crazy highs.
Yeah,
like
his vocal range is bonkers.
It's almost actually scaring me. Like,
his
in a good way.
Are crazy. His pitches are crazy. And he has a lot of like accent on his vocals too. You know what I mean? So he's got his high, and then he's got his like demon high. You know, when the Elmo voice. You know, driveways are for cars, not for playing. You know, when you add the Elmo voice to it, or
what
like
the fuck
Smeagol.
was? Oh, the
Yeah, you add that to your high pitched screams, and it turns them into the demon scream.
Like the
Lawrence Stitch.
Oh god, I can't do this. This is cringe. We're posting cringe right now.
Cringe. Cringe. Either way, when you add that to your voice, he does that, and then he's got his lows, and then he's got his like gutturals, and then he's got his tunnel throat, and he just seems to like mix between his lows and his gutturals like all in one, and then his lows and his tunnel throat all in one, and then he's got this like step up from his lows, which is where he sits through most of the vocals.
Yeah.
Which is still really low. Like it's about as low as I can go with my voice.
Yeah, he's low.
And he has another range. Like he has a whole other section under that, which is fantastic. And he shows it all off. Like he shows all of it off in this song, straight up. And you're like, oh, fuck,
yeah, this song is like it's what it is. It's like a taster for the album. It's like this is what you, because it's relatively short.
There is one thing it's missing though, which is why it's got a 7 for me. But I'll go into that later.
Okay, all right. I gave it a 7 as well. Initially, like I think last podcast, no, the one prior, the Make Them Suffer one, where I talked about how Forward wasn't a huge heavy hitter for me because I felt like it was just sort of it was an intro track that had a little bit of everything but didn't really, it just sort of stood alone and didn't do much for me. Yeah, this sort of was the opposite, despite doing very similar things. Like it had its own sound. It does the same sort of thing. Like it does kind of lead into the next song, but it's like a cut, go, instead of, it doesn't like cut, have a whole separate song really, and it doesn't fade in or anything like that. It's just like the end of this song is the start of the next song, but they're still very distinct. But
I really like that.
I still like this a lot. And same things you said, basically. Like it's got basically a taster of what is to come with the rest of the album. You get a full range of Will's, but I'm going to assume it's Will. We're going to say it's Will from here on in. A full range of Will's vocals, and like it gives you a taste of all the instrumentation. Like one of the things I touch on a lot through this, the guitar, like the lead guitar and the riff really stick out to me. And there's like there isn't heaps of lead per se in this part, like riff wise, but there's like the atmospheric sort of like I can't explain it, but like open, big, slow, open, like consistent chords, high chords, and it just works really well and sets up the album. So yeah, like 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Happy 7.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go on to song number 2.
Let's go on to song number 2.
Number 2, Sword Adherent. Let me just thanks. I just need to get in my head where it was, but I was like, no, that's the end of the other song.
Well,
Stitch me up.
the fact that you needed to go back and listen to it makes sense because I found it to be a little bit. It was actually one of the weaker songs on the album for me.
I think so too. Sword
Not to say
Adherence,
it's bad.
like,
It's good.
it's not a bad song. It does feel like they're too, like, when you listen to enough deathcore and death metal and the heavier stuff and like black metal and stuff like that, you can sort of like pick the difference in songs. You know, when your generic pop lover is like, oh, they all sound the same. I get that.
Yeah, I understand.
Because they love their blast beats. And
Yeah,
there's
like,
only so much that you can blast beat in a song, but
it's
you've
still
got to do it
different.
sometimes. But the
Like,
guitar work's generally different.
For
the
something to be
riffage is
different, it doesn't have to be like 100% distinct.
Exactly right.
I think
technically it can be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, honestly, technically it can be different, and that's all right. So, yeah, I get mixed up with this one and with the other. Like, when this starts and the other one ends, it's one big song for me.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same. I'd honestly, I'd probably rate it the same. It's a 5-minute song though, so
Yeah.
it's like all the songs on this album are pretty thick, like in length.
Most
but
of them
it's
are
like
sensible size, like 3-4 minutes.
4 minutes odd. But this one being 5 minutes and then 2 minutes for the intro adversary. There's like a 7-minute intro song, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It is still good. It's still heavy as hell. So I'm gonna give it. You know what? I'm gonna be a little bit rude right now and give it a 7 as well, and just say I give it the exact same score for the exact same reasons as the intro, because I
So
consider
rude.
this the intro as well. It is a bit rude, but no, it is because it is its own song. It's got its own lyrics, its own way to do it. But I've only listened to it as a whole. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
That's how you should listen to an album.
Exactly.
Not on shuffle.
No.
I gave it a 6 out of 10. I think. I mean, yeah, if I were to consider it to be part of the same song, which it does sort of. Yeah, if you put this album on, as far as you're concerned, you wouldn't even know. Like, it's the next. It wouldn't feel like the next song. It feels like the first song on the album.
Exactly right.
But I still, knowing, like, from a critical perspective, listening to it as a separate song, I like once again, it's weaker for me, but I do like it a lot. I've mentioned in the past that I'm really into the rhythmic side of music. Like, that's where it sort of hits me first. But this is where you start to get a taste of, like, the lead guitar parts. The melodic side of
they really
music.
shine through in this album and
Man,
in this song
dude,
as well.
It's some of the it's technical for sure, but it's not like ridiculous. It's not like Rings of Saturn level or like Animals as Leaders, like weird, like let's do the craziest fucking timing we can do and see how fast our little widdly diddly fingers can move, and but it is very technically impressive, but that's not what I like about it. It just sounds good with everything else in the music. Like the guitar solos are almost not predictable, but they are like, you sort of know where they're going and when they're going to come in, and it makes you go like, oh, and it's like a pleasurable feeling to be like, oh yeah, there it is, and there it is. Like listening to blues music. Part of what that makes it sound so damn good is because it sounds the fucking same. Like, because it's got this, like, the 12-bar blues thing, you know what the next chord's going to be, and you can pretty much guess based on that how the little improvised guitar is going to go. And I find this. But
if you add like crazy mixed timing on that, you won't be able to tell what the fuck's going on.
And it doesn't, like, it still could be really good, but it's a whole different thing. But
exactly
so
right.
This stuff, like the lead guitar parts aren't necessarily simple, but they're not, like, from a technical perspective, but they're simple in the sense of like a musical structure perspective, I guess. And it works perfectly with this music, and you don't get, see, the other thing is I don't know this album super well, so I'm trying to, like, remember from listening, but I think you don't get a heap of it in this song, because there's other songs where I really just go off on it. I'm like, this is the best. So this song, I'm just like, you just get a taste.
There is two, yeah, you get a taste. So I will say with Sorted Herent, they do a little bit of, they've got this really good sound in all of their album, in this entire album. They've got this incredible, like, we talk about groove a lot, like the song that has a good rhythm and a good groove catches you and you're like, oh, what is that? Oh, wow, what is that? You know, and you get this really funky, moving, pacing, heavy metal breakdown or heavy metal spot in a song, and it moves.
That's a great way to describe it.
It is. It's moving. It's
like it's alive.
Like, it's its own little piece that's like separate from the blast beats and separate from the, you know, the flash, like the heavy double kicks, and separate from the riffs or the, you know, heavy, you know, zeros and
just
and
zeros.
ones, just zeros. They do a lot of that throughout this entire album, and this is Sorted Herents where you get a taste. Like right at sort of halfway through the song, you get this. It all sort of slows down, and he goes. You get this like din 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 din, and it keeps going for like a good couple of bars, and it has this like it's this good contrast between vocalist highs and his lows, like through it, because he's like doing these like throughout it, and then he's like doing these pitchy things that just like throw up, and he's got this like massive low bass drop guitar going on, just like boom, and his highs are up here and the guitar's down here, and it's like this juxtaposition like through that one moment. You're like, whoa, what was that?
Yep.
But it only gets better from there, and I think it's right you saying it's like your first taster of that, because they actually start doing it a little bit in here, and then they have that just horrifically massive breakdown at the end of the song as well.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
A lot of them do, but this one's just like massive breakdown at the end, which is like your first taste of one of their hugest breakdowns, like how low they can actually get and how thick it is as well, and like their proper bass drop too. Like listening to it through my soundbar and subwoofer. Dude,
yeah, maybe I should put it on out on the soundbar out there, because
it's so low.
I mean, these headphones are good, but you know, I won't get the full amount of that. Like there's you know, 90% of the time it's good to hear it, better to hear it in headphones, but there's some like, I don't know how to describe it, but there's just some parts of music that's better appreciated through monitors.
You know what it is? It's because of the separation. Like in the headphones, you can hear it all in one sort of hit. But the separation between, like, for instance, at least I know from experience, my soundbar and the subwoofer, getting all of the low notes and all of the bass through the subwoofer, and then all of the guitar tremolo on the soundbar, like having that segregation of each, you can really tell which part's going off and how they actually like are colliding in the middle before it hits you in the ears. It's so good, dude.
Shit, yeah, nice.
But yeah, a fantastic song. Like, cannot criticize it at all. I give it a 7 as well. Yeah. What did you?
I gave it 6. So
yeah, it is a little. It does get a little bit washed away. It's because all the other songs after this are really, really good.
A lot of, in fact, the next song.
The next song is
one last thing I want to say about this song is that, funnily enough, given who else is upcoming as a feature artist on this album, it gives me big Ivor Alliance vibes.
The next song?
No, this Sword Adherent. Like,
oh yeah, the Sword Adherent.
In fact, it might have been even that bit you talked about in the middle.
Yeah, that is very Ivor Alliance.
It just like reminds me of Ivor Alliance. So
their older
which
stuff,
which is definitely a compliment. Yeah, the older stuff like Reject of Humanity.
Yeah.
That's
all.
It
does. You're very right. It does. Like the really, really like weird.
It's a timing thing, I think.
Unexpected times, but also an unexpected sound in a deathcore song. Like, yeah, they do these like funky moving pieces that you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Either way, anyway. Let's move on to the next one, hey?
Yes, let's please.
Song number 3, The Impure.
Impure. This shit bussin'.
This shit bussin'.
Man, because I told you like I was like listening to this in the car and the shower and stuff, and
Yeah.
basically that's primarily because I wasn't really just like sitting down, putting it on, listening before having a critical analysis. I was like putting it on when I was doing other things, but still able to really enjoy it, just like driving and having a shower. Like I can still listen to it without thinking about it too hard. But the problem with that is, I just like I can't check what song is playing if I'm driving or if I'm in the shower. So it means that I'd be putting on this album and I'd be like, this is like, I'd be like driving and be like, fuck yeah, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
But don't know what it is. And I won't, and then I get home and, there's no point like I'll look on Spotify, be like, oh, it might have been this one, it might have been that one. Don't know. And then before when we were chatting, you were saying, oh, like, he's just like, oh, what did you think of the album? And I was like, oh, it's really good. And he's just like, yeah, you were listening to some of the songs, and what you even said was the Impure. And I was like, oh, yeah. And so when I was sat down to do the critical side of things, and the Impure came on, I'm like, oh, yeah, Paul said this one was good. And then I realized which one it was.
Oh, that's this one.
And I was just like, fuck, this is such a good song, man. It's just too much to sort of even describe. Like,
yeah,
I think one like I keep saying, the riffs and the lead guitar are probably my favorite part of this album, and this is probably some of the best demonstration of it. Like, it's got insanely cool riffs that just complement the music perfectly.
Yeah.
And then like there's like riffs in like a little verse at about 40 seconds in that it just, and it's just riff after riff after riff, and then as if to just top it all off, icing on the cake, it has one of many in this album amazing guitar solo right at the end.
It does.
It's just like sit there. I'm just like, ooh, I'm just losing myself and I'm flowing with it. Yes. Oh, so fucking good. I loved it so much.
Yeah,
so I gave this song
really
an 8,
well harmonized.
And on the high end of the 8, like I sort of sat there and go like, geez, do I want to give it a 9? And it still is a contender for a 9 on a good day, I guess. So, but it's conservatively, I give it an 8.
Well, I see eye to eye with the Impure. Born to Devour. This song is so good. This song is like everything that you want in a deathcore song. It's like so heavy. It's like, so what they do fantastic is like their drumming, and because I listen to the drumming first, it's what I pick up the most. Their drumming, every single bar of, like, for instance, let's put like a 4-bar breakdown in here, right? Every single bar will be a little bit different, or they'll change it a little bit. So like you're listening and you're following, like listen to it now when you're listening to the rest of the album or going through any of the other songs from here on, you'll hear that they keep changing shit. So you're just like, I was expecting another bar of that next, and they don't do it. But what they also do, which sort of works well and also counters that, is that, you'll have your part where there's a verse 1, for instance, and then before verse 1, they'll have this weird different part that connects to verse 1, and then after verse 1, before what they would call their one-off chorus or the next part of the song, verse 2, however the structure of this song works or any other song works, they'll have like another like middle bit that just connects it. You know what I mean? That's just like 4 bars or 8 bars or a breakdown, like 2 bars, a breakdown, another bar, and then the next verse that are just like random and so different.
Yeah.
And also the song ends without like a massive breakdown, but it ends on such this like upbeat, like, and it's over. And you're like, what? Where's the rest of my song?
Yeah.
Oh, breakdowns in the center, fantastic.
So
the whole song, fantastic. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Fuck yeah. Well deserved.
Well deserved. It's a very good song.
Oh man. It really highlighted what I like about this album.
100%.
Probably more than any other song. So I don't know. We'll get to that, but yeah, it was so good.
Just a quick punch out. Anybody who hasn't heard this album, just go and check it out. Like, it really does deserve more credit than what it has currently.
There was something I wanted to say. about when I was just like on final thoughts of the album, but what I was going to say as well is like, you know that I wasn't always a huge deathcore stan. Like, I, I like to, heaps of heavy music, and obviously my music taste is very diverse, so I'm not fussy. But like, there was a time and a place where I was like, oh, I think because my experience with deathcore was very heavy stuff, like it had been like Infinite Death and stuff, and
Infinite Death and when Night in Texas.
Well, see, I sort of listened to a bit of them after
Rings
I
of
got
Saturn.
into it a bit more.
And Night in
Rings
Texas
of Saturn was
great.
probably one where the first time I heard him, I was like, this is a bit much.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it just felt a bit overwhelming to me. But I don't know what changed. And I think maybe it was Ivor Alliance did it for me, actually.
It's your appreciation, man. It was a mixture of a lot.
Yeah, like, as soon as I started to see... I was like, I could see the light, and
you could see the good in it, or you could see the technical work in it.
Yeah, and how it's all structured, and just like any piece of music, I start to suddenly realize how it's structured, how it sounds sonically and tonally, and it just all starts to make sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you haven't quite ventured into metal to deathcore territory, because you find it to be a bit overwhelming, I think this album might be a really good place to approach it, because it doesn't hold back either, but it makes sense. Like, if you go and listen to something like Infinite Death by Die Art, as much as I love it to bits now, when I first heard it, it was just like, I just couldn't keep track. It just was like, this is just too much is going on. It was like an overload of senses.
Yeah.
Now I like it, and I feel like this doesn't feel like an overload, like a sensory overload at any point to me. Which maybe that's because I'm into this, like, the more technical crazy shit now.
Yeah, because your musical taste has matured like a fine wine.
Yes.
Like a bottle of pepper jack.
A $30 bottle of wine.
I agree. I reckon it's a good intro to it if somebody's trying to listen to that sort of music, because it does have a lot of elements of progression, like sort of proggy in a sense. It's got a little bit of proggy. It's got a little bit of hardcore spots. If you can deal with the vocals being those demonic highs and those,
well, I think if you really like heavy music, then that's going to be the highs are probably the only thing that are a little bit grating to someone who already is a fan of heavy music.
The gutturals,
they might be like,
like A Day to Remember did some crazy gutturals that you were just like,
yeah, man,
that was so low. But
Jeremy
these are proper low.
Very good lows. So,
however, I agree. Actually, I think I got into deathcore first out of our friend group.
Yeah, probably you would have, because
I think I did.
I was a late bloomer.
I was trying to convince all the boys to listen to things, like a lot of deathcore songs back when we were a little bit younger. Like, check these out.
Back in the day.
And I think I just went down the rabbit hole really quick, and then I had to come back, because you guys, like, that's why I haven't really listened to Make Them Suffer's other stuff and like their mid stuff. I listened to the older album and their newer stuff, but I never listened to their mid stuff because I wasn't listening to it around then. I don't listen to who's that other one? The Architects. Like,
yeah,
I don't listen to them because
it's really interesting, because Architects are very popular.
Yeah, but I'm like past that, if that makes sense. Like, I will appreciate it.
Architects were popular as fuck.
Yeah.
Well before I got into them, like they had well and truly broken that mold, and then I go back now and I listen to I can't even remember the names of the albums. Like, this is how little I know about their old stuff. But like, I go back and listen to them, and I'm like, this is awesome, man. It's so good. I absolutely would have got into this, but for some reason, I just missed it. Yeah. And then it wasn't until they released All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us, and that album, I don't think there's a single song I can fault on it. Like, I love the whole album from start to finish.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, the next album, it's pretty good. And the one, I haven't even listened to their latest album. Like, so I could, but like,
I just remembered that there was this Italian death metal band that, like, I found years and years ago, and I can't remember what their name is, but I remember that they were on my old iPod. I'm gonna have to find them.
If you find them, I'll put the name of them up here.
Check them out. That was so crazy. We're going to do a review on them, maybe.
Maybe we should move on to the next song.
All right. Song number 4. A Cataclysmic Eternal.
Well,
what a name.
Yeah, while we're on that, all the names on this album are like super poetic.
Yeah.
Eye adversary, sword adherent. I'm never going to use the word adherent again. Like,
but you know what it means now.
But yeah, well, I'd sort of I guess it'd be like to be linked to, right?
Yeah.
So I know just because of the adhere. But still, I'm never going to use the word adherent. I'll use the word adhesive, but never adherent. A cataclysmic eternal? Come on.
Yeah, it's pretty hectic.
And don't get me started on à l'aube de l'enfer.
À l'aube de l'enfer.
And the fucking Latin one. Anyway, we'll get off all that. But a cataclysmic eternal.
What a crazy name, Oblivion.
Oh, where do they come up with this shit?
Where do they even work out these words? It's like a fucking Elder Scrolls.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
This song starts off like old school deathcore. Blast beats, like that ringing cymbal, like that ting 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 ting, like that, just smashing through it. And then
smashing.
Again, just smashing. And then they have that, that cool, as we said, moving and groovy and progressive sound come back in with that sort of like swaying moments then between after that, and it's fantastic. Oh, it's just good. It's just a good song. This is a 4-minute song, which is, it doesn't feel like 4 minutes.
What do you think, it's quicker or longer?
This song is like go 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 the entire way through, and there's no exact spots in it that like really call out to me to make me think back and go, oh, I want to listen to that one moment in this song. Whereas, for instance, like the next 4 or 5 songs on the album, I go back and listen to moments in them as well. And I'm like, God, that was crazy. And then go back, moments in them.
Love a moment.
Yeah, moments are pretty good.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, that's it. Super, super heavy. Great moments. Every time you hear his vocals, he's just got such like, it's like he's doing the same things, but I guess the setting for where he sings, screams, or vocalizes, like expresses, is always different because it is different. You know what I mean? Like they have these different sections of the song which sound different. And God, it just makes them like, they feel heavier than they were earlier when he sang it in the song or did the same low. I just think the contrast of this song is incredible.
With the other songs, or just with
in general, like
it's like bits and pieces of the song
in general. And then they end this song with how they started it, with the same blast beat, except right at the end he screams out, "No one will hear you scream, or no one will know your name," or something like that, or hear your name. No one will hear your name, and then you get that like right to finish it off, and it's just like this nice clappy finish, curtain close.
He says, Jesus Christ, this is full on.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Bile spewing being abomination of hate, my monstrosity made with the need to fornicate. Why can't you see the truth? Say your prayers. This is deathcore, mate.
Yes.
Pray to your dead god. Crumbling one by one, infernal sickness. Anyway,
what's the last?
The line you're referring to is no one will hear you pray to your dead god.
Yeah, which is insane.
Jeez, this sounds like their song where they say they don't like religion very much.
Maybe it could be one of those ones
100%,
where they don't really
dude.
like animals.
Nah. What? Pray to your fucking god. Who will you pray to when your deity is dead? Where will you run when the holy turn you away? Inconceivable thoughts that will fill your mind with dread. The air is thick with the stench of blood. Ingest the field of locusts. Constantly clouding focus. Dig deep and remember to pray. No one will hear you pray. That sounds like he's very upset at the man upstairs.
No one will hear you pray. That's pretty hectic. It's
pretty
hectic all around, eh?
Cool though. It's poetic and cool.
Great words. Either way, I give this song a 6 out of 10. It's very good. Just heavy the whole way through. As I said, it doesn't have any of those moments that call me back that just want to draw me into the song. Except for now the lyrics.
Yeah. Well,
this
is the same conversation we had the other week.
I'm going to go through that shit again. Yeah.
Yeah, because it might just bring a new appreciation.
Yeah. Not that I'll appreciate hate towards God, however.
I kind of like that edgy shit. I'm an edgelord.
No, I'm a bit more of a snowflake. I wish for peace in the world, so... Either way, alright.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I've harped on a lot about how I'm into the riffs and the lead stuff in this album, but I think this song has got the groove. It's like if all the other songs are flexing the lead prowess and the riffs and shit, then this song's flexing the rhythm section. And I think it comes back to what you said. There's not a lot in it that you remember. Like you go, I'm gonna go back and listen to that and all this stuff, but it does sort of just keep moving. And I think that's driven a lot by the rhythmics of it.
That's sort of like what I said before about it's a 4.5-minute song, but it doesn't feel like that.
No,
because it does.
Yeah.
You're just like the whole way through. Oh, it's over.
4.5 is kind of long. Yeah, yeah. It was rhythmically a good song to me. But it just a lot of other tracks on this album I like a lot better. So I gave this one a 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
it's fine. It is a great song, for sure.
Yeah, great song. Look, if you're listening to the album as a whole, like what we've done here and what you should do, it's not going to feel like it was in the middle there, and you're not going to be like, hey, that was terrible. You're just going to be like, oh, this song's just good, and then this next song's good. Yeah. All right, let's move on to track number 5, hey?
Let's do that. The Elder Scrolls 4
Oblivion.
Stop!
All right. This is
Oblivion.
the song featuring Mark Poiter.
Mark Poiter, who...
Poiter.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
Hey!
Legit?
Poiter!
Hey, Poiter. Hey, Poiter. Hey, Mark Poiter.
I'm Cucumber Joe.
I think this might be the first song you showed me of these guys.
Yeah, I showed you this one because the end of this song has... I love the vocal and finish to this song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to remember when you showed it to me. I think it was on a car trip or something.
Yeah.
And you I might have put on Ivor Alliance or something, and you were like, "Oh, I know a band that has a feature track from Ivor Alliance's vocalist."
Yeah.
And then you put it on, and I was like, "Holy fuck, this is good."
This is good. So this song has got really great moments in it. This is one of the songs I'll go back to, and I reckon when I first started really listening to each individual song in this album, started honing in, and being that song's called Oblivion. It has that really heavy spot. I want to go back and listen to that song. When I first started doing that and started listening to this song, I reckon I sat in my car for a couple of hours that night and had the music fucking blaring in my driveway and was just trying to work out. I reckon it was it was at least an hour in my car, and I was trying to work out how to do those, how he does those lows at the end of this song. Oh man.
Yep.
And then he holds onto it, the last note, he holds onto it for so long. Oh, so heavy.
Was it Mark's bit?
I think it's Mark Porter's bit.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because he's a goddamn
God, man,
freak.
that guy's
But
a freak.
they're both freaks. Like, they're both freaks in
Yeah.
this. And honestly, if it is Will Ramos, right? If it is Will Ramos that is doing the vocals for this album, for Awakening Providence, he's just joined Lorna Shore and they've released the song Through the Fire or something.
Okay.
Lorna Shore's released it with Will Ramos as their vocalist. And if there's one thing you do after this podcast, Owen, listen to that song.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Like when I think...
It's a new Lorna Shore single.
Yeah. The song is called To the Hellfire.
Okay.
To the Hellfire. Check that out. It's a like, if you want heavy but like vocally pushed, musically it's just like flat out the whole way through. But vocally it's one of those jaw-dropping, like,
wow. Just like, what was that?
What is that? His vocals at the end, holy moly, like, they are insane.
Yeah.
Either way, and he does a lot of that through this album, which is great. But yeah, Oblivion, fantastic song, great,
so good,
great mood the whole way through.
Who does the cleans in it?
So if it's going to the vocalists, if it's going back to the original people that do it,
yeah,
it is DeAndre Tyre does guitar and cleans.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because there's another track where he does some cleans. Yeah, but yeah, this is the first one that really comes through with some cleans. It's good. That's really uncommon in like death metal and deathcore. So,
and actually, it's quite good because it's, you know, when you get those like cleans in a heavy song and they're so girly or they're so pitchy, and you know, for instance,
like tough guy cleans.
Yeah, it's like tough guy cleans. It's like Old As I Lay Dying cleans.
Yeah, it is a bit.
I would describe The Darkest Night.
I would describe like what's that As I Lay Dying album, An Ocean Between Us.
Oh, that was a
which
good
is my
album.
favorite. Yeah. I would describe the cleans in that as operatic. Like,
yeah, right.
But I don't think that I would describe this as operatic. I describe this as, I'm a big man with big sound. I can sing well.
But it's nice. Like, it's not too pitchy. It's not too low. He's not going into some like crazy vocal thing. He's just singing a
He's
part.
Just singing well.
He's just singing a chant.
Yeah.
Oh. And halfway through the song, he does that really cool like stop spit into this tunnel throat, crazy big breakdown, and it's just got this like, and then back up to this massive like breakdown. That's so good.
Fuck yeah. And then another song with an awesome guitar solo in it. In fact, I think this might be the guitar solo of the album for me.
The winner of the guitar solos.
Man, I don't know. There's so many.
There are so many.
But yeah, I think this one might be it. Oh, it's so good. And yeah. Oh, and I got the big stank face for the final breakdown.
It's proper stank face.
It's like the...
Yeah. It is a very good guitar solo. I'm just remembering it all now, actually. Right after the guitar solo is when that stank face comes in.
Yeah.
Like, slows it down.
So yeah, such a good song. So I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Oof.
And not in any small part due to the contributions of Mark Porter from Ivor Alliance and A Version's Crown too.
Oh, he does A Version's Crown, that's right.
Yeah. I don't know if he still is. And he's got another band now. So
whoever they are.
He'd be good to chat to. You should try and hook up with Mark Porter and see if he's interested in having a little chat with us.
Hey, audience. Fun fact. We may or may not. I'll leave it as may or may not because there's a chance that it won't happen.
Keep it a surprise who it might be too.
But we may be interviewing or doing a review with a guitarist of a particular band at some point in time. Maybe. That'll be fun.
We think so.
We think so. He's agreed to it over text message.
Yeah.
He said that it's going to be a lot of fun.
If I had $1 for every time I've agreed to something over text message,
Yeah, and then didn't do it. Just ask my work.
we've got on multiple sources that he's keen. So
Yeah. So that should be
and
good.
from the horse's mouth.
And we're trying to tee up another little interview or another little chat with another band. I wouldn't go as far as deathcore for them, but I would go. They're definitely quite established in the hardcore scene. Both parties. Your mates.
Yeah.
Your mates' mates.
Okay, my mates' mates.
Your mates' mates. And my mates' mates.
Yes. It's all the people you know.
Yeah, which
We're
is
just
quite
networking.
It's quite good. So that'll be a lot of fun.
My whole life is just networking. I'm networking for work and I'm networking for this.
For pod.
Networking for work and networking for pod. Net podding.
Net podding. Pod netting. Pod working. Oh.
You haven't given your rating for this song.
For Oblivion.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's exciting news. Very good.
Oh yeah, exciting news. There you go, guys. Hopefully that happens and it's super exciting for all of you. And,
super exciting for us.
Yeah, it's so cool for us. Like we never thought this would happen.
Yeah, well, how many episodes in? This is the 5th episode.
No, but like in our life.
Oh yeah.
We never thought we'd just be chatting and then all of a sudden we'd have a guitarist of a band or a couple of members of a different band.
Happened.
That just happened.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So Oblivion, I give it a 7 out of 10 as well. It's a very good song, as said. I reckon it's one of those weird parts for me with Oblivion because ever since I heard the middle of the song, that guitar solo, and the breakdown at the end, I stopped listening to the start of the song.
Oh really?
You know what I mean? Like it's not that it's
got those cleans in it too.
It does. And I'm never mad when it comes on either, but it's one of those ones where I just think about those particular moments. I know I'm hard to please because in the other songs I'm like it's got no moments that I like, and now I'm like it's got a moment, but now I'm not thinking about the rest. You know what I mean? Like it's just smoments, you know? Smoments, they come and they smo. Yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10 because I'd listen to it for that end breakdown now, and I listen to it for the middle of the song, and the rest of the song I don't exactly remember too much unless I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh god, I love this bit, but it's just like driven by that breakdown at the end for me. Old mate Poiter and his drop. All right,
it's got pipes.
Let's jump on to the next song, hey?
Yeah. Do you want to have a crack at pronouncing it?
À l'aube de l'enfer. L'enfer.
I think I'm gonna look it up, but I'm pretty sure.
À l'aube.
À l'aube de l'enfer.
De l'enfer. De l'enfer. No, because de l'enfer.
But it's de l'enfer, like l'orange.
Yeah, but it's still it's l'orange, but it's still l'orange. L'orange.
No, it's l'orange. L'enfer.
Right.
Hang on.
À
l'aube de l'enfer.
À l'aube.
À l'aube de l'enfer.
À l'aube de l'enfer.
À l'aube
de l'enfer.
And what does it mean?
It translates to at the dawn of hell.
Oh shit! I wasn't expecting that. Oh, righto.
Why? Because it's in French?
No, because it has a lot of L's in it.
À l'aube de l'enfer. At the dawn of hell. Yes. How's your vodka and coke going?
Almost over.
Yeah, I finished my beer.
I wish I had a beer.
I'm on the waters.
Waiter. Alright. À l'aube de l'enfer. Let's go. Fun fact. I might have to make a t-shirt that says fun fact on it. Because I say that a fucking lot of times.
Yeah, we do say it. Fun fact.
Fun
Here's
fact.
a fun fact.
Especially when we're on the
fun.
podcast.
I said it's fun.
I say fun fact all the time. It's not even a fun fact. They're trash. This is one of my faves on the album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just for the middle. Just for those minutes between the first verse and
So you
it.
say that.
Oh. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss for the middle.
Also, it's hard. Like, it's really, really progressive and hard. Like, where the rest of it sounds like, sounds like deathcore, and you've got like your contrasting, moving sort of music. This one's, it's like chunky and solid. Like, it sounds so solid right at the start, and then after that, they've got this like movie bit that's just like, for thousands of years, nothing has changed, and he's doing it all in his high pitch. Oh, and then, nah, I can't even. This song's just so good. In that sort of like moment, like maybe a third way through the song, they do that sort of like that big breakdown where it's like really fast and like, bum bum bum, bum bum bum. You know what I mean?
The end.
No, it's like halfway through the song.
Yeah, that breakdown to me reminds me of
Scraping the Barrel.
If I Make Them Suffer. The breakdown in that.
Yes, it does.
So if you compare that breakdown and then this breakdown, you'll see that they're very similar.
But this one's so heavy.
Yeah.
And it fits way better than Threat. Oh,
Scraping the Barrel.
It was good. It was a good moment. It's so heavy, dude. It's just like bum bum bum.
Wait, I'm thinking
Bum,
of a different
bum,
breakdown in this song.
Bum bum bum.
I'm thinking of a different breakdown. In this song, there's that bit. Okay, so that's the bit I'm thinking of that sounds like If I Make Them Suffer.
Oh,
But
so the second bar of the breakdown. So the first bar
I
is
think so. Yeah, because the first bit is,
bum bum bum, bum bum bum.
but there's also
Bum,
the bit that
bum,
goes
bum.
like beep ba 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 ba.
And then
Oh
the
my
next
God.
one goes bum bum bum. So it just misses the second and the third like triplet.
Yeah, I think so. I'll play them one
Play
after
it,
the other.
play it. It's so good. It's
yeah.
so heavy, and it caught me off guard. And he's just like, the vocals in there, the lyrics are, "Will you rise above the mountain or wait for nature to consume?" He says some word. It's like it sounds like imagination, but it's not imagination. Something is a new form, and it's waiting for you to destroy your neighbor, and something like that. It's so good.
Natural selection has a new form.
Natural
and it's
selection
begging
has a
for
new
you to
form.
destroy thy neighbor.
Yeah.
But united they claim to be survival of the richest, a game for the sadistic, one nation under the wealthy.
How good is that?
Nice.
So the lyrics actually got me into this one way more. I like it more because I listened to the lyrics and was like, bro, that shit's tight.
Dude, this is cool.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Learn from your father as he learned from his own. He was beaten to be eaten, feasted, hollowed out to the bone.
How poetic is that?
That's so poetic.
And you're not even singing it.
No, I'm just like reciting it as if it were a poem.
As if it were a part in the Bible.
Nah, that's the other one.
But how good's that? Like,
Yeah, so cool.
So good. Yeah,
Fuck,
fucking
yeah.
thick song. And then they do, like sort of like 2/3 of the way through the song, they hit it with that breakdown again, except it's different this time. They sort of like lead up to it the same way, and then they hit it with a different breakdown. And it's just got this like really good atmosphere around it, and it's like really airy. And then it's just like much, not faster, but it's more consistent. And they're like, it's so good. Oh man, it's so heavy. It's great.
Yeah, it's a groove.
It's just a groove. Like, yeah, it's like great spaces. And not just that, like the spaces leading up to those particular grooves that I'm talking about have their own really good sound. This is what I was saying with Oblivion before, where the start of the song just lost its touch because I'm listening for those groovy moments in the song, where I reckon À l'aube de l'enfer that was not bad.
That was pretty good.
Has like the atmosphere and the sound of each part leading up to those grooves are equally as good as the grooves, and then they contrast and help them be good because they're sort of like good in their own way and different, and then good in their own way and different, and then, you know, it moves really well, it progresses really well. That's what I like about it, at least.
Shit, yeah.
That's why, this song is I'd say it's a 9 on this album.
A 9?
Yeah, it's a 9.
Holy crap.
It's really good.
Man, yeah, I mean, for sure it is, yeah.
This song makes me bop, and as I've said in every one...
It makes me bop too.
It makes me bop, and any song that makes me go, yes, thank you,
That's actually true. This song...
Yeah! Oh, no.
Yeah, this song's... it makes me bop too.
Yeah.
And I'd actually initially written 7 out of 10. Because I remember, like, listening to this album, knowing this one I really liked, and thinking, like, fuck yeah, I'm going to give that a massive rating when I sit down and critically look at it. And then tonight, when I sat down and listened to it, I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty good. But it wasn't as good as I remembered. But now remembering it again...
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah.
This is actually so good. So I give it an 8 out of 10. Because it's the same thing as, because it's just a rhythmic bop.
It's a rhythmic bop, and it's deathcore, but it's a rhythmic bop.
Yeah, the bit that really gets me is that breakdown in the middle. I don't even know if you really call it a breakdown, but it's like the
oh yeah, but like even then, like, you know, we're talking about like it's just a riff, really.
Yeah.
And it's just got this such diversity. It doesn't sound like deathcore at all.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
But it's in there and it fits.
But it's deathcore because it's in a deathcore song. And it goes back
to being silly heavy.
Yeah. Oh, it's
dummy
so
heavy.
Good. Dummy heavy. Just like stank heavy.
Fuck yeah.
Oh.
That shit bussin'. 8 out of 10. Let's go.
That shit bussin'. Bussin'.
Should we move on to song 7? Not 10.
Song number 7. The Blvck Sun.
Blvck Sun. It doesn't do a lot for me until maybe the pre-chorus and the chorus, which is, I guess, this song's sort of unique in that sense that it actually has a bit of more of that verse-chorus structure. Yeah. But from there on in, it's such a good song. But I feel like it's lost a bit of its way for a good portion of that. Also, I reckon it might be the closest thing to a quiet song on the album. So, I've got a mouthful of beer left here. What else would be the quiet song?
Oh.
Because, I mean, it's definitely not quiet, but...
I'd say the last song on the album is their quiet song.
Behold Thy King?
For when we're talking about deathcore, everything is go, go, go. It's either the first song or the last song. For me, on this album that I can remember. Unless I'm forgetting.
Alright. Maybe this wasn't the heavy. I'll save this one warm, like this room temperature mouthful of beer for the last song.
I'm all out.
No, I might have to get another one before then.
I'm going to have to get another one.
I've got to work tomorrow. But yeah, once it starts to pick up a bit, and it gets fast and got the groove and everything, I really start to enjoy it. It's got heaps of
groove, this song.
And there's that fucking funny little breakdown in the middle. And then there's like this sort of relatively simple overlaying guitar riff that goes over like this pre-breakdown, sort of about halfway through the song. So there's like a pre-breakdown and then there's like a proper breakdown. And there's like a cool little guitar riff over the top of that, and that draws me into it, like most of the songs with a cool riff in it. And man, yeah. Oh, and then what you were saying before, like his vocal range, this is probably where he demonstrates his most filthiest lows that I can at least remember from this album, like right at the end, he's got
Yeah.
like some super, super, super lows.
And
like,
halfway
they're
through the
visceral.
song. Halfway through the song, he
Yeah.
does like when it goes like every man suffers in quiet desperation.
That's a good lyric.
Yeah, and then it just goes like it drops and then it drops again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's just like doing these like massive, big, loud, round, full lows.
It's true. Man, yeah. So, but it's a good song on the album, but not my favorite compared to a lot of the others.
It's a good middle of the album.
Yeah, literally. It's a good little. It's got good riffs. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like most of the songs in the album, I can't fault it greatly. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's like it's good.
Yeah,
it's not amazing.
I'd probably say the last from the center of the song onwards is the best part of the song.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like half the song is like this is just fine.
Half the song is good
build
build-up.
This is awesome.
And the last half is like what you wanted the whole song to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because it's like, they got that really good groove in it, and stop starts, and like they're just like the gutturals coming in here and there, and you just like it's just like this random like note on, note off, and he's just like, and you're like, you weren't even speaking, bro, and he just like throws in a scream.
He's like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Guess we're doing that. Yeah,
and then like I don't know, to the children of the blackened sun. Oh, yes. The blackened sky. Oh, so good.
So what do you give it?
So strong. This song, I wouldn't be surprised if this album was inspired by Dark Souls as well.
Do you reckon?
Because Black Sun, I'm thinking the dark sign in the sky, and Blood Moon, the Blood Moon, Demon Souls.
I've got no idea.
I'm just saying. Because if I ever write an album myself, like The Impure, Sword Adherent, like, come on. Oblivion?
I don't know, man. I only play Muck.
Muck. I just play Muck. Everybody join us on Discord to play Muck.
Yeah. Join my Discord and we'll play Muck.
Big group mucking. Alright. Yeah, I'll probably give this song... a 6 out of 10. Like, it is good. Like it's
exactly what you said.
It's the second half
bottom
of the song.
heavy. Yeah, the second half of the song, you're like, that's what I was here for.
Yeah, if the whole song was the back half of the song, like the whole song sounded like the back half of the song.
Yeah. It's a prawn.
That would have been like, that would have been a 9.
Rip the head off and eat the back end.
Eat the bummy. Pull out the poo. Pull out the poo vein.
Yeah, don't forget to pull out the poo shoot.
The poo shoot. My poo shooting, baby, is driving me crazy. That's all that reminded me of for some reason.
Oh, God. I'm not having a heart attack. Your joke wasn't so funny. I'm having a heart attack. I've just got sore. Bruising
okay.
Here.
I made you laugh into pain.
Your joke gave me a heart attack.
Wasn't even a good one, bro.
Poop shooting, baby.
Yeah, poop shooting, baby. Yeah, like, what do you rate it, man?
I gave it a 6 as well. Out of 10. 5 out of 7.
Yeah, cool. That's fair enough. 4 marks. All right, song number 8. We've got The Finite Infinite.
Wow.
How does that make any sense?
An oxymoron.
How is it forever when it's limited?
Wow. Really makes you thinking emoji.
It's the eyebrow.
I can't remember. You got the eyebrows for it. Oh, God. Miles, lower that eyebrow. And the other one. Alright. Finite Infinite. I like this one quite a lot. And once again, I think it's because it's one of the more lead guitar driven songs. And it's got another kick-ass guitar solo on this song.
Yeah.
So it gets me going. I feel like in those moments where I was listening to this album like while I was doing other things, it was the guitar parts of all these songs where I was just like, oh shit, what is that song? Like, I need to figure out what that song is. But yeah, I think this song, what this song does well, and actually this whole album, is that it sort of marries the melody and the rhythm really well together.
Sure does.
Like, I mean, that's sort of a prerequisite for music, but like, I don't know, they've done it in such a way that you can appreciate it quite a lot in this album, and I think this song does it really well.
You'll see a lot of you'll see a lot of not so nice contrast in other deathcore.
Yeah.
You know, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You'll see like this really like heavy, and then this really random like moment, which sounds great in itself, but it doesn't make sense with the rest of the song.
Yeah.
Where they're doing these crazy ass riffs and these crazy ass drumming and these crazy ass vocals throughout this song, and it matches the rest of the song the whole way through.
Yeah. Although the only part that it doesn't match, I think it's cool in its own way, but there's like a breakdown right in the middle of this song. It just stops, goes into this breakdown, and I don't know what timing that's meant to be in. I think they made it up. No, it's something else.
No?
Because I remember listening to it and I was just like, it just made, I feel like I short-circuited or something trying to process it. Like,
dude, that one's so good.
So weird. Oh, it was good. It was just like bizarro world tuning, timing. I just had no idea what was going on. I mean, it's cool. I like that sometimes. So yeah, it works.
As you yawn. It's cool sometimes, man.
It's quite late. But yeah, and then the other thing I liked about the song is there's like those male choir parts near the end.
Yeah.
And
I'll quickly pitch in there. That's what this song does fantastically, and more than all of the rest of them. It's grand. It's epic. It's epic. It's epic.
It gives me like an empowering feeling.
Yeah. And it's because of the chanting going on like throughout the song. Like you'll have like those riffages and those moments, and you'll have like a ha 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 like in the back, and you're like, it's getting bigger.
Feel like
it's filling up the
Viking mood. Or something.
Yeah, it's very Viking related. Yeah, 100%, very big.
I like that.
And it's good.
Stuff.
But I think I know what you're talking about with the middle breakdown, and it's just like comes out of nowhere.
It's weird. Like it's so disjointed from the rest of the chorus. And then it just like stops, and then it goes. I got no idea, man. It completely threw me.
It goes like dun 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 dun, and then the breakdown starts, and it's just like
it's. If I didn't know better, I would call it sloppy, but it's not sloppy because it's all there and it adds up. But it's also like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the song.
It's like I got hit by a bus.
Right in the middle of the song. I know what you're talking about.
And then got up and walked away from it.
But I like it. I reckon it's good.
Yeah, I like it.
Actually, right after that breakdown, there's this moment in it where he sort of like screams real pitchy, and it's almost like it reminds me of like Hunt the Dinosaur.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God,
it's kind of like
talking about being hit by a bus.
I don't know what he's saying.
Hunt the Dinosaur is like being run over by a steamroller.
And then back.
And then he reverses back over you. And you were like, that was awesome. Do it again.
Yeah. While you're thinking about drugs, that's it. Oh, yeah. The part right after that massive breakdown in the center, he's got this sort of like, I don't know. It sounds like he's talking back to his mum. I don't know what he's saying.
What?
But no, it's the best way I can explain it right now. But it sounds like the way that it sort of sounds like the music sort of sounds with these vocals. He's just like, it sounds like he's talking back to somebody, like he's mocking someone. Or, you know what I mean? Like after that big breakdown, like check it out again. It's just like it's like that sounds so cool. Yeah, it's like the breakdown was something, and now he's like, he's going back and he's like,
the finite infinite.
yeah, pretty much like that. It's like he's saying something like that, but he's like, so, he's sort of speaking this pitch, like this high thing, going like, it sounds like this sort of like, skibbity bop. End of the song's breakdown. What do you think?
That last breakdown is just stank face.
It's just stank face. It's just so heavy. It's almost like unnecessarily heavy.
No, there's no such thing.
It's just so heavy.
Disgustingly heavy. I like it though. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I probably I like it. I probably like it a little bit more. No, I'll probably give it a 7 out of 10. You're probably right there. You're right. Sweet. 7 out of 10. That's a happy 7 out of 10 too.
Hell
good,
yeah,
good
brother.
Song. Good song. Good song. All right, now the real question is, and the elephant in the room, who's going to work out how to say this next song?
Yeah, I mean, like, "À l'aube de l'enfer" was one thing, but who wants to go first? I'll go first.
Discipuli autem tenebris.
I'm going to guess
Discipuli
autem tenebris.
Tenebris.
Tenebris?
Yeah, you wouldn't say the S. You wouldn't say the
it's
S
Latin,
there.
so maybe you do say the S.
I don't know. I don't know the difference. I'm thinking like in Italian, you wouldn't say the C in disempuli. Discempuli. No, you just say disempuli. It'd just be
disciple. Yeah.
Yeah, disciple.
Discipuli. Yeah.
What is it? Disempuli autem tenebris.
Discipuli autem tenebris.
Well, apparently the translation is just students holds. Discipuli autem tenebris. Which translates to students holds. Maybe it's just a crappy translation. Song 9.
Disciple of darkness, bro.
That makes so much more sense.
Disciples of darkness.
Students holds. Fuck you, Google Translate.
Bruh.
So shit.
Bruh.
This is probably one of the weakest songs in the album for me. The only thing that I took away from it that I kind of liked is that, like, the breakdowns in it, of which there are many, are all, like, crazy, out of control, psychopathic kind of... Like, you just don't know what's going to happen when the next breakdown comes.
Yeah, it is very, very breakdown-centric.
Yeah, like, nearly the whole song is just, like, breakdown after breakdown after breakdown, which is not a criticism at all. It's just... The criticism is I'm just like, maybe it just pales, I guess, to the rest of the album for me, because I do like a lot of the other stuff. But yeah, this was just like a bit of a breakdown fest, which was fun, but that's just it for me. It doesn't maybe have a lot of substance. It was just a lot of like just weird breakdowns. I can't even describe them. They were just so bizarre. So that I don't have much to say, and I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Dude, that like real heavy part right in the like 1/3 of the way through the song. He goes, "Let us revel in their suffering, minions. Let's conquer this night. Rain hell on the holy, off with their heads, fill it with blight. Darkness bestows, evil knows no fame. I am here, I am king. Bring me to the light."
Okay.
Like,
this gets a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it's so fucking heavy. That's insane.
I love lyrics like that. It's like I like all those lyrics that like depict old like conquering and war and shit.
Yeah.
Like Periphery's Blood Eagle.
Yeah.
It's just like
oh man, but like that song has so many more connotations after Vikings though. After I learned what the Blood Eagle was, holy moly, man.
Yeah, I didn't know it until you guys, which makes sense because like the the lyrics are like literally just describing that. Rip the body from the bone now, spread the heavens wings, show Valhalla glory and memory. Let the Christians sing, as in scream.
Oh.
But the lyric from that song from Blood Eagle that sounds, like it's just the war, invoking war sort of lyric is fucking hell. Pour out the tide of the Valkyries. The land is ours to claim. No man or woman escape the fire.
So heavy.
So heavy. Oh, King of the North and Norse, with drums beating, screams repeating, and the hammer force of Thor. Surrender not enough. We'll let them bleed.
All right.
Everyone tonight. Different album now.
Whole different song. However, it's giving us Blood Eagle vibes.
Yeah, Blood Eagle vibes.
It's giving us Blood Eagle vibes. Those lyrics. This song, and because I'm a sucker for a breakdown, I love this song. All right. It's pretty much, as you said, it's pretty much heavy the whole way through. It's breakdown after breakdown, and it gets heavier. But then sort of like after midway through the song, they do this sort of like real choppy, groovy bit as well. And it sort of brings it back to that style. And that's what I love about these guys. It's that little groove in the songs. And obviously, I just looked up a little bit more of the lyrics and just made sense of a couple of things that he yells out. And wow, like so much more passion in there with that. Yeah, can't get passion like that.
Can't get passion like that.
But it's cool. It's cool because he does a couple of different things as well. Like sort of at the end of the song, he's got this part where he puts this like reverb, like echoey thing on his voice. And he does this sort of like, he does this sort of like reverby,
like
echoey, like
or something.
It sounds like he's at a hallway. You know what I mean? Okay. Like it sounds like the echo in a hallway. And it's just like sort of like bouncing off as he's like saying this thing, and there's no music around it. He's just sort of yelling this part out, and it's just like I don't know, it's just cool. Like I reckon it's just a bit different. I reckon this is a better sword adherent for me because it's heavy the whole way through. They don't do too many like groovy bits, but they have got that one really good one, and then the awesome solo at the end.
Yeah, there's a cool solo at the end.
Incredible solo.
Yeah, for me sitting here saying I love the solos, and then being like, oh, this is all breakdowns, but yes, it does have a really, really good solo. So maybe really that was a little bit rough. Maybe it's worth a 6, especially because of the lyrics and the cool solo.
It's really fast.
Yeah.
And it ends on the solo, like with that.
Like
nice
many
sort
of these
like,
songs do.
Like ends on the solo with that dun at the end, and it's over.
Nice. It's ogre.
It's ogre. Ogre Magi.
Donkey!
Donkey! Get out of my swamp! Okay. Either way, I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
Booker now. Fucking Booker.
One day, I hope we can get an interview with her.
You know what?
We're here with...
Imagine. With Booker Nile.
Booker Nile. Oh, my God.
What's happening? Anyway. Booker! All right.
She would fucking hate it.
So.
It just be like connect on Squadcast. What up, Booker? Disconnect. All right.
Or the whole interview, we don't say anything, and then right at the very end, we're like, "Can we please say it?" And she's like, "All right, one time." And we're like, "See you later, Booker." All right. Song number 10.
No, penultimate song, not last song.
Song number 10. Did I say the last song?
No, I was about to say the last song, but it's not. It's the penultimate song.
Second last song of the album, "The Blood Moon," part of the self-title.
Yeah, interesting titling sort of stylization too. We haven't even talked about that. That's like the V for the A is cute and all that, but like the way it's like the Blvck Sun and then like the pipe symbol.
Yeah,
and that's included in both the title and of the album and also in the song, and then obviously the following next
You know what I
shared
haven't done?
title.
I haven't listened to the Blvck Sun and the Blood Moon one after the other.
Do you reckon there's a secret track waiting to be found, mate?
Maybe.
It's not a Tool album.
Maybe. I wouldn't put it past these boys. I wouldn't put it past them that they play From Software games either. Either way, this song has CJ McMahon from Thy Art Is Murder. We've already done an album review of one of their albums, Thy Art's Holy War.
Go check it out.
And we've spoken highly and a lot about Thy Art and CJ, as they are a big fan. I don't
think I could speak much higher of that, man.
We're already comparing. Owen started off by comparing this album to them, by the way. So there you go. Fantastic. This is great. He has one small moment at the end of the song, and he really comes in and shows his rattle.
There's nothing about that moment that's small. It's big moment.
Yeah,
I'll
agree.
Go for very long.
There is one small moment at the end of the song where CJ makes that very small amount of time very large.
Yeah.
With his big meaty man body.
I wrote that CJ is unmistakable in this song. Like as soon as
100%.
You know when you're like, there's a feature artist
like,
on a
for
track
instance,
and you're
Mark Poiter.
Mark Poiter.
Mark Poiter in
Poiter's
Oblivion.
Vocals sort of blend in a lot to this, so if you weren't concentrating, you might miss him. Not to disparage him at all, of course, he's so good, but he's got a very similar sort of vocalization to old mate
Will
Ramos, but CJ, no one's like CJ. So when CJ comes in, you're like, oh, there he is. You could be not paying attention, and you'd be like, CJ. It sticks out like dog's balls, man.
It does.
It's
like big red ones.
So awesome. Big red doggy balls.
Yeah, and a rocket too. The Blood Moon. This is a very good song. It starts off. It's just already. It's like got a great atmosphere right from the get go. All right. So that's. I think that's one of the parts that called me to it from the beginning, is because it's got such a great feeling and vibe to it right off the start. It's got that and like I know it probably sounds the same if you haven't heard the song, but listen to it. It's got this like crazy cover over it all, and this washout to it, and
guitar chords.
Yeah, and this great like momentary, just like, oh, okay, it's happening, and then it's so high intensity that the little fills in between, what they do is they've got these like stop start and it goes again, so it like gives you a moment to breathe, and then it goes again, and that's really cool for me. I reckon that slaps so bad. I don't know what he's saying either, but all I know is that his vocals sound like they're poetic in this.
If I had to take a stab, like,
how
can you listen to that screaming shit?
Yeah, exactly right. But the way he is wording everything, it's very, very. It feels very nice with the music. They go into their like real heavy part after that, which is nice again. But
it's poetic in the sense of like the meter of how he's delivering it, rather than what's being said.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, it's about how he sings it.
Yep.
And then they do it twice in this song, where sort of after that they have this really and he goes like, he's just like, oh, the words for that, we'll have to figure them out, but he's just like saying like do blah 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 blah, and it's so good.
That's kind of Ivor Lionsy.
It is Ivor Lionsy, but it catches you so off guard. Yeah, because he's just doing this
a lot. This whole album, like, you think you've got it figured out, and then it's just like, oh, hang on, sorry, they've done something strange here.
Oh, hang on a minute,
and it like re-engages your attention. Like,
you've thrown me off.
You think you get it, you think you understand it, you get comfortable, and then they're like, right, kick them up the bum a little bit.
Yeah. Throw something else in there.
Yeah.
Change it up a little bit. So, yeah. And then, sort of after that moment, it goes back to having that really, really good atmosphere, really great movement You know, like they've got that really good flow with the guitar and like the swing of the song after that, until they break down, where they say "This is genocide," and it makes me think of Die Hard.
That's do it too.
But that's real heavy in that moment as well.
Yeah,
I think it's quite ironic that CJ's on the song where they say "This is genocide."
Yeah. Is that a lyric? An actual lyric in a Die Hard song?
Isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is. It just sounds so Die Hardy.
It does. Yeah. Tell me what rating do you give it?
All right, this song gets an happy 8. It gets an 8. All right, so
happy 8.
Sorry, let me.
Happy 8 or an ecstatic 7?
An ecstatic 8. It's just got great moments in this song. Great moments in the song. Right at the very end, CJ comes in and does his little part. They stop everything.
Yeah, it's like they just they part the seas, and then CJ standing
it's like
in the middle.
They part the seas and CJ is Moses.
Which I think
CJ
has the power to do with his voice.
I'm missing the part right before that as well, before CJ's part, where they've got that like really crazy, weird riff again, where they just throw you off with like the and that part, like, that's great. And then it stops. Everything stops, and it really does. Like, it just closes off, and like Owen said, it parts the sea. And then all of a sudden, there's this like amazing amount of sound that is just lost for a second, and you're like, what is going to fill this empty space?
Man. It actually invokes that sort of image.
Yeah, it does. It does. It pulls everything out, and you're like, what is going to fill this space? And then you get the dun dun dun, and then CJ coming in with his perfect vocals, just coming in and filling in that gap. It's him right off the get-go. You're just like, oh, no one can scream like that.
No one sounds like that.
And you know he's like this far away from the mic, like the mic's down here, and he's just like, oh!
Dude,
and you can still hear him.
He's so fucking loud.
He's so loud.
That is seriously the loudest. One of the loudest sounds I've ever heard a human being make while looking so effortless while doing it.
Unreal.
It's amazing.
Absolutely unreal. And he comes in and he pretty much, I don't know what he says, but he finishes off with saying, "This world is mine."
Yeah.
It's so heavy. And it's just, it's so heavy. It's possibly the heavy, well, I want to say it's the heaviest part of this whole song, but I don't think it is.
Oh, this...
the heaviest part of this, I think it's the heavy part of the song, but of the album, sorry, is what I was saying. I don't think it's the heaviest part of the whole album.
That's so hard to pick.
But, yeah, because they have some crazy moments.
Oh, man,
but I reckon Behold Thy King's got the heaviest breakdown in it.
Well, we're nearly there, so. What'd you give it? An 8?
Yeah, an 8.
Oh, that's fine.
An ecstatic 8, by the way.
An ecstatic 8. I think what I like most about this is it's got all the elements that I like in the songs that I like in this album. So it's got like the cool riffs, it's got filthy breakdowns, it's got the groove.
It's got groove.
The guitar solos are like mesmerizing, like you just get lost in them.
Yeah.
And then there's like weird bits still to catch you off guard. Like there's some weird mixing they do in the breakdown right before CJ's part, like the weird little it's like they cut bits out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just good.
It's sort of like a hop step, or what is it called? Glitch hop.
Yeah.
It's sort of glitch hoppy.
Yeah, just like
just cool as.
Just literally, it's like they've gone into like in the recording and they've just selected chunks and deleted it.
Yeah.
And then it goes
delete. Now play that.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So yeah, so I gave it an 8 out of 10 as well. An ecstatic 8 out of 10.
An ecstatic 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's deserving of an 8 out of 10.
Oh man, so good. Fuck.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those ones. It's like Blood Moon off Make Them Suffer.
Yeah.
Like off Old Souls.
You're waiting for this song?
Yeah. Not
Except
that
this
you're
is
waiting
the penultimate
for it,
song on the album.
Hey?
Except this is the penultimate song on the album, whereas Blood
yeah,
Moon,
I reckon
still got half
all
an
of the songs. Yeah, I love all of these songs, but I reckon this is the one that you'd show somebody to first get them. Like, if you had a deathcore friend, you'd go, listen to this song.
Yeah.
And they don't know these guys. You go, listen to this song, and now listen to the rest of the album. You'd be like, the hell? You know what I mean? It's got like a good amount of everything, and then you got CJ coming in to back you up.
Yeah. If CJ's word isn't good enough, then nothing is.
Exactly right. All right, let's move on.
Final song.
I'm going to give you all a spoiler. This is my favourite song.
Ooh. Behold.
Yeah.
Thy King.
I love the atmosphere of this song.
Me too. That's what I said. It's got that big atmospheric sound.
This song is like, if Old Mate Before wasn't grand and epic, this song is so big.
You know what? I can't help but sort of mentally invoke this image of like, especially when it's like the behold.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
of a choir.
I feel like it's like someone standing atop like a mountain in a storm with the wind coming at their face.
Oh, like
and
proper
like,
Viking.
Like at Mother Nature and fucking telling
curse
them who's
you
boss.
And your bugs.
It's so powerful,
it's
dude.
It's so powerful. And not just that, like it's like it starts off with that like massive immersive.
Well, it starts and finishes with that.
Boom. Like, right? And then it stops. And then you move into the song and they go straight into some like cool, groovy, like relaxed, like dun 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 dun. Yeah. And it doesn't stop. It keeps going. They keep going, and then they just get heavier and heavier, like getting that like nice chunky Philly bits in there. And then some slow bits, you know, like just, and he's still just vocal ranges going off fire. Right? And then you get to the end of the song.
Oh man.
And it doesn't feel like it's 6 minutes either. Again, this is one of those songs that just doesn't feel like it's a 6 minute song. It just,
I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
It goes too quick because it's so good.
Yeah. Because oh god. So like, okay. Let me get my head straight. 3/4 of the way through the song, they do this crazy, cool, fun groove again. And once again, you're bopping, so you know that I like it. Bopping around and you're like hearing it, and it's just immersive. Like, it's immersive. Like, the way that they fill in the gaps is insane. With all of the songs on this album. The way that they fill in the spots between verses and chorus and verse, the moments are so technical, and them themselves are like crazy timed and crazy motioned. And I think this song is the perfect way to wrap up this album, because
100%.
It's so big. They started off with that creepy and immersive, really relaxed guitar with the first song on the album with I Adversary. And then they end with Behold Thy King. And it is I Adversary, Adversary. And then the last song is Behold, Thy King. You know, I think it really wraps up really nicely with like little play on words there as well.
Yeah.
And
bookends.
Fucking hell, the end of the song's breakdown with Behold Thy King before he does it is just mind-boggling of how
I cannot help but get goosebumps.
Oh man, it's given me goosebumps now.
I'm just thinking about it. It's so just empowering. Like,
Behold Thy King upon us.
I don't have a lot to add, to be honest. It's so powerful in that epic sound, I guess.
Yeah.
Like in the very meaning of the word epic, and awesome in the very meaning of the word awesome. Like it invokes awe.
It does.
It's
you're
insane.
Sort of like sitting there. You're not like, this song's so good that you're not sitting there going, that was good, that was good. You're sitting there with your jaw dropped, not moving, going,
yeah.
What's happening? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole way through, and that's something to be proud of.
The ending, because this song is just a perfect ending to the album. Period.
Yep.
But like the ending of this song
is the perfect ending like, of any song.
Yeah, like it's just such a heavy. It's like they just thought, like, righto, bring out your A game here, and had this slow, super heavy breakdown.
Yeah.
And then to have it just finish with like this quiet ambient sound that
Dun 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 dun.
trails
dun.
off, and oh my god,
Dun,
so fucking
dun, dun,
good.
Dun 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 dun. Oh, it's so big. It's just so big.
And also like having like probably the most climatic "Behold Thy King" part.
Yeah.
Like right at the end, and I mean,
yeah,
geez,
with the chant behind it.
Yeah.
So
powerful. So yeah, it just leaves you dumbfounded.
Yeah. This song's a 9 for me as well.
Wow. I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
So
you gave no 9s out.
Well, I almost gave The Impure a 9.
The Impure is a good song.
But now that I think about this song more, I'd always put it on the same level as The Impure. So I actually don't... I'm going to have to decide in a sec, but I don't know which one my favourite is out of those two.
I'm the same between L'aube de l'enfer, l'enfer, and Behold Thy King, because they're the two that I rated my 9s.
Right. Well, I think we're up to that.
Well, that was a very good album, and I'm really glad that we got to talk about it.
Too.
I feel like I just
taken the time to listen to it more. You've gifted me something here, Paul.
I feel like I haven't spoken about anything like in depth of each song in specific, but I feel like I've talked about what happens in the songs. Just thinking back now, like most of the stuff that I've said, and that's just
but that's okay.
It's just the songs are so powerful. Like every one of these songs is so powerful and got so much motion and raw, just like strength to it. You know what I mean?
Give us your favorite song.
My favorite song. It's a very, very hard struggle between the two, but Behold Thy King and go again, Owen.
L'aube de l'enfer.
L'aube de l'enfer. L'aube de l'enfer is my favorite song on this album. I just reckon for a small snippet of like something that I love right there, it's like I could listen to that song a lot and just be like, oh, it's just so good every single time, and I have done that. Whereas Behold Thy King, it's so epic, but it fits better as like it's not a standalone song. It fits better at the end of the album.
Yeah.
So it sounds better at the end of the album, you know what I mean? Like at the very end, if you're listening to the whole album, you just be like, the last taste in your mouth is, man,
yes,
they had some weird times.
Trevsy.
And Behold Thy King. Wow. That's the last things you remember. But if you're like picking out one song to listen to, L'aube de l'enfer is just so fucking thick.
Well, in that case, because like you just said, I was like a bit conflicted about whether Behold Thy King might be my favorite. But in that context, then The Impure is probably my favorite. Yeah. Because it's a standalone. I mean, look, this is absolutely obviously not to say that Behold My King standalone isn't an amazing song, and I would listen to it by itself.
Excuse me.
But it's so much, you get more out of it with it having been the last song.
Yeah.
Whereas the Impure and
really
L'aube de l'enfer in the same token are just like, I'll pop that on and I'll get as much out of it as have I just listened to the rest of the album.
You sort of get all of the best parts of Awake in Providence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get all of the good parts that you like about the whole album in that one song. Whereas Behold Thy King, you get a little bit of those moments, but it just doesn't sit as the climax.
It's someone else. It's someone else altogether.
It's something else. Like it's.
But yeah, The Impure, and mostly because it's got a lot of my favorite thing about this album, which is the riffs. Like this is riff central.
Really?
It's a one-way ticket to Riff City, with a stopover at Breakdown Station.
Riff Snitty.
Nice.
Man. What was your least favorite song?
Now I gotta pronounce it again. Discipuli autem tenebris.
Discipuli o tem tenebris.
The fucking Latin
one. Tem tenebris.
Or tem tenebris.
Discipuli o tem tenebris.
You pronounced it like 40 minutes ago. Anyway,
it's the same word as we pronounced.
I
How
just
can
sort
we
of
keep
find
fucking it up?
Yeah. I like, when I listen to this album, when I've listened to this last week or so, it's like I didn't know it really well at the start, so I was effectively listening to a brand new album. And by the end of it, I was sort of like listening, and I remembered how the songs would go, and I'd be like, oh, it's this song, this song, this is good. And I'd like be like, I love this next bit coming up. This song, probably as much as it's cool and I enjoy listening to it, I'm just like, I don't remember any parts that are coming up.
Where is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, this song comes on, and I'm just like, okay, right, okay. This is this song with the breakdowns and stuff. And whereas like all the other songs, like I now remember it. Like I'm ready for what's coming next, and I get excited about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this song just sort of.
But as a whole, how is this album?
Oh, so good.
Like as a whole, like honestly, like if you're gonna put an album onto, like this is why I said at the start, like I've listened to this album so many times, just because. It's constantly doing this, like up and down and up and down. Like it's going like that the whole way through. You got heavy, and then you've got like upbeat, like diddle-a-dant, 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 and you're like, and then back down, and then you're doing that the whole way through, and then you get that epic finish with "Behold Thy King." You know what I mean? Like that's why, like this album as a whole is such a good piece of work. It's so underrated.
Yeah, it is really underrated.
Yeah,
it deserves so much more attention. I can't believe that it's not like. One of the bigger metal albums. Like, it's fucking awesome. What was your least favorite song?
A Cataclysmic Eternal was my least favorite.
Oh, yeah.
It sort of sits awkwardly between Impure and Oblivion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess so.
I sort of
that's true, because Oblivion
and
the Impure is so amazing, and then there's this song that's just hello, Harvey.
And it is good. Like it is very. Oh, hello, Harvey.
Keep talking.
It is very, very good. Like it's a great song, but it just I don't know. It's just when you. It's like a. It's like some lilies. Between two rose bushes.
It's like, these are nice, but what are they doing here?
Nah, yes and no. Like, they're nice on their own. Like, they're nice separate, and they're nice in that order as well. But when you've got two rose bushes to look at with beautiful roses, you're not looking at the lilies, are you?
No, that's right.
And that's all it is. Lilies. Unless you love lilies, and then go for it. It's a great song. It's a great lily. But this whole album's just so good. That's my least favorite. I think I gave it a 6, I think.
Yeah.
And... like a 6 out of 10 as the lowest song. I gave everything else something higher.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's such an album. Like one day, if we ever have an album out and somebody gives us a 6 as our lowest for the entire album and everything else is higher, I'll be very happy. In scoring wise, like what have I given a 10? I've given Discoveries, the song, a 10.
That's it, I think.
And that's it. The rest I've given 9 as my highest.
The only 10s that have come is Discoveries, and
Yvette gave
The Child We Lost.
A 10.
Yeah, and then
and I didn't give any.
BK gave Lightbearer a 10.
Yeah,
I haven't given anything a 10 yet. So, but I just haven't had the right album to give it to.
That's right.
Yet.
That's exactly right. And
let me tell you, I have 10s. Don't worry about
that. It's not about having them. It's about the fact that a 10 has to, like, we are critically analysing these things.
Yeah.
And truth is, if it was so easy to get a 10 in a song, you sort of defeat the purpose of it.
Yeah.
There has to be something wrong with certain music. Like, nothing's going to cater to that. It's just nothing's going to cater to an individual perfectly. That.
It's exactly right.
Discoveries only caters to me because I've found an outside connection with that song. I've got when like, for instance, you start dating somebody and like a song plays on your first date. And then from then on, whenever you hear that song, you think about your first date. Or when a grandparent dies or a parent dies and You know?
Well,
There's
sound
a
like that
particular,
music
like-
can be pretty linked in memory.
Exactly right. Like, I've got a weird one. Like, for instance, Polyanarchy, right, by Hermitude, right?
Yep.
It's a techno album, right? More or less, singing in techno.
Techno.
Well,
It's EDM.
it's EDM, okay? Sure,
let's
whatever.
not split hairs,
I don't
but yeah.
really listen to that sort of stuff that much, but I like what I hear and I listen to what I like. That's it.
Yeah.
So that album came out, or at least I started listening to it around when my grandma passed away. And
Okay.
yeah, and there's songs on there, like every song is like upbeat and sort of like dance music-y and sort of like, oh, this is cool. But there's even certain songs on there that I don't like that now I like because that week or those 3 or 4 weeks while she was passing away and we went through all the rigmarole in there where I listened to this album on non-stop. Just flat out, because I couldn't think of any other songs to listen to. I couldn't think of any other albums, and I just kept listening to this album over and over and over.
Like a passive distraction.
Yeah, it was like a distraction, and it's the same for my my little sister. She used to listen because she showed me this album at that time, and it's the same for my cousin because I showed her this album when she came up when my grandma was passing away. She stayed at our house quite a lot, so we listened to this album quite a lot. And now every time I hear this album, I think I make connections. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
The only, like, I'd give songs on this album a 10, not because they deserve a 10 for them themselves, but because of my connection with that song is so much more. Like,
I think that's so much more important than
it's so much more important, isn't it?
This is what makes music so subjective, man. Like, it doesn't... I mean, yeah, music is subjective in the sense that everyone has different tastes, but I feel like music transcends a level of subjectivity personally between people. You and I could love a song for identical reasons. Like, literally could have the exact same affinity from a technical standpoint about what we like about that song, but have drastically different opinions of it in general because of how it makes us feel for one reason or another and for our own experiences and stuff.
And that's why there's nothing wrong with country music.
Except for that. That's fucked.
Nah, some countries are right. I will say...
I don't like the poppy country stuff. Like, I'm not a big fan of, like, Luke Bryant and Lee Koenig.
I don't know any of their names. I just know the one about the guy with the green tractor, and I don't like it. No.
It's probably a
let me...
what's his name, Bryant?
Matt Corby, for sure.
Matt Corby, country music.
Matty Smokes, yeah.
Matty Smokes.
Matty Smokes country. For instance, I'll break it down one more step for you because we always have like a little moment after the podcast and now we're talking about this. On that album, Polyanarchy by Hermitude, there's a song called Phew, Phew, right? There's no way that I'd listen to a song like that, right? There is no way that I'd go out of my way to listen to a song like that. But I now like that song. Right? Listen to it, Owen.
Yeah, I'm putting it on.
There's no way that I would just inherently go and listen to this song. Right? But what she does is she says this, she sort of like sings and then she goes, phew with the cash, phew, phew, phew with the way, da da da, phew, phew. And she says phew, right? Like, phew. Like, get rid of it. Right? And my grandmother used to...
just jump to it.
My grandmother used to say, oh, phew. Like that all the time, right? And now it's forever ingrained in my head. Every time I hear that song, I think of my grandma. Doesn't matter. It's so weird because I've made that connection with it. And like my grandma was always obsessed about money. She'd always, big money, like with people or whatever. She'd always say this. And like, just like this whole album connects me to it. Few with the cash. Few. Like just too much. Like that's how it just connects me to that. And I really like this album. Like it is a good album.
Yep.
Glorious, the end of that album. Glorious, the song. Fantastic. Listen to it, Owen. It's very good.
Heaps of Hermitude. A couple of big Hermitude tracks. The Buzz, obviously, is fucking everyone knows that. So
I just like that.
Actually, the Buzz is on my big playlist.
This entire album, besides the first song,
but I'll
has
listen to
features.
that album. I'll give it a crack.
But it's good. It is a good album. And actually,
I think I've seen them live. I was just too fucked up to remember it. At Beyond the Valley. So I'm sure it was a good set. I just don't remember. So quickly, what's your rating of the album?
The whole album. Oh yeah. Sorry. For the whole album, as one big start to finish, I reckon the album would. I want to say 9, but that's really high.
I think
it's an 8.
No, I reckon you should give it a 9 because the way you talk about this album, you know it quite intimately and you love it a lot. It wouldn't. I just assumed you were going to give it a 9, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to give it. I want to give it a 9 because I like it so much.
Yeah.
But I think 9 is not its fair average score for the songs that are on it.
It's fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, in all fairness, 8 is its average score. I'm going to give it an 8 as a whole score. What about yourself?
That's a fair rating. I give it a 7. I said before, like deathcore is sort of musically a relatively new venture for me. Like, I mean, I've still been listening to it for a long time now, like maybe 6 or 7 years, despite having loved all heavy music for a long time before that. But, maybe some time ago I would have struggled. Actually, you know what? I don't think I ever would have struggled to listen to this. I never would have been like, this is too messy, this is weird. I probably would have just got into it from the rip. And that's why I said before that I think if, you are into heavy music but haven't taken a step into really appreciating deathcore, because I feel like that's what happens is a lot of people just overlook it, and that's why it's not as popular as most other genres of heavy music. But I think if you really give it a chance, and this is a good place to do that, you'll find stuff in there that you just didn't realize you could.
Yeah.
It really changed my attitude towards.
It's a no-brainer.
Music.
It makes you appreciate deathcore more as a genre.
Yeah, 100%. This is good. I'm so glad I've been introduced to this album. I'll be listening to it a lot in the future.
And I'll keep listening to it a lot. And I'm quite excited for the 2 potential interviews or podcasts that we're going to record with 2 or 3 people.
Maybe more members of different groups.
That might come out at some point. I'm also very excited to do Owen's requested album for next podcast.
There'll be another one. There'll be another mystery album.
Music sounds better with you, baby.
Now that's a song.
That is a song. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast, episode number 5, Awake in Providence, the Black Sun, the Blood Moon. Thank you guys for tuning in to this. We really do appreciate it. If you've listened this far, thank you. Congratulations. Send us a little Gmail to get this picture of the cat that we drew from last time. It's still here on my desk. The picture of the cat.
There it is.
There's our cat. That BK drew. We've signed.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Owen signed it.
Yeah, I signed it when
he signed it when he came over. All right, guys. So what you can do is we're on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Music as a podcast, we are on Spotify and Apple Music as a podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, you guys can contact us at hamboyspod@gmail.com, which is hamboyspod@gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with us, you can also leave a YouTube comment. Follow us on our Instagram, which is hamboyspod.
That's all the socials.
And that is all of our socials. So far. Now, if you guys do want to get in touch with us, please do. We do have a little bit of an interesting video that went up on our YouTube the other day, which we talk about how people listen to music and how people listen to music differently, which sort of opened up Owen and my eyes a little bit. We had a big conversation about it. So check that one out if you haven't yet.
Really... like people to watch that. I understand people might not want to sit through a whole podcast on video format, and that's fine. But it would be really cool if people, like 11 minutes long or something, and it sure blew my mind. And so
go and check it out, guys. It's really cool, actually, and we want to hear your guys' opinions. So jump on YouTube, check it out, leave us a comment. Always like and subscribe if you guys can. We'd really appreciate that, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.